It's tube amp time, and this one's called the Tuba. Get it? It's from Hagerman Audio Labs, based out of beautiful Hawaii, if we could all be so lucky. I believe Jim Hagerman. It's kind of a one-man shop as I take it. Has been in the business for a while. Makes a lot of cool stuff. Makes a lot of phono stages. A lot of like chip on board kind of stuff with little enclosures. I've had a chance to try his trumpet, which is his moving coil cartridge tube based phono stage, and it's a really nice piece. And I've always wanted to try this this little amp. It's only amp in production right now, the Tuba, and so I'm excited to do so today with you guys. Pretty straightforward design, as you can see. I think Hagerman sort of believes in putting the money in the right places in the amp. I will compare this a little later to the Deckware Taboo, which is sort of my benchmark tube amp. This guy's about a little under 800 bucks, 789, which is not inexpensive, but certainly not as crazy as a lot of tube amps can get price wise. It's got in front, you've got a volume / power knob, which is kind of interesting, kind of novel. I don't know, I'm on the fence about whether I like that or not. You've got low and high, although not super high impedance, so there's like 5 and 35, I think. So you can like run IMs and stuff off of this, which is kind of cool. Not something I'm super into, but a nice option. Not a lot of tube amps really are designed to support super sensitive headphones like IMs. In the back, you got your RCA input, and then you got your DC barrel. So you get a AC power brick off the device, which is kind of nice. Keeps a little electrical noise out of the unit. You can see some of the, I assume, the transformers through there. So the power tubes here are EL84s, EL84s, and what you notice is there's just 2 tubes in this unit. So I guess that technically makes it like tube hybrid, but here the hybrid is the output. So these are the power tubes. There's no input tube, so the gain stage and everything is being handled by solid state electronics, and then the tubes are your chance to get the tubiness and to decide kind of what the power signature sounds like. These are rated by Hagerman at 350 milliwatts at 32 ohms. You compare that to the Taboo, which uses the same power tubes, but they're rated at like 1600 milliwatts at 32 ohms, like 4.5 times. So obviously these are being run very conservatively. These tubes can produce a lot more power, and I think that's with a lot of intention here in making a unit that is like incredibly clean. And that's the thing that jumped out at me like immediately when firing this thing up, is just how black the backgrounds are. And I found that to be true of the trumpet phono stage as well. It's just so clean, and I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a signature of what Hagerman's going for, is like, yeah, tubes are great, let's enjoy them. They offer some really interesting sound characteristics, but we don't have to live with transformer hum or little pings and pops in the background or pushing them harder than they need to be driven. Let's like get what's good about them and enjoy that, but let's not have to compromise in other ways. And I think that's a very interesting sort of design philosophy. He hasn't said that to me. I'm putting words in his mouth, so he may he may reframe his approach a little bit. But that's kind of what I take after hearing a couple of his devices now. Also like it's kind of a utilitarian design here. Like I think it looks all right. It looks cool, but it's not. There's no fancy woodwork and whatnot. Now, I think you can get wood panels for the side of it. I don't know if they're still, I didn't see them on his site when I last checked, but I have seen tubas in the wild that have, nice little walnut trim pieces or something on the side. It definitely zhuzhes up the look a little bit. Sound-wise, what can I tell you? So, start at the top. Treble. The treble it's good. It's detailed. It's got some nice twinkly bits. The mids are in some ways sort of the sweet spot for the EL34 or 84s. So you're getting, a touch forward, a touch emphasize, maybe from a flat neutral, which, can elicit a little more of a sort of emotional response if you move from another tube-based amp or solid-state amp. And I got to compare this against maybe like 4 or 5 other amps I had on hand at the time. So some good moving headphones back and forth to see how they respond. It's maybe like a little bit less of that sort of broad three-dimensional sound that some other types of tubes can produce, or some other configurations of hardware can produce. But yeah, you get more of that emotional response, more of that intimacy in the mids as they push forward. There's a good, it's sort of a mixed bag of punchiness and smoothness. So you'll get some stuff that'll kind of have a good bit of energy, and then you'll get some stuff that's kind of got a little more fluidity. And it's nice, for some tracks it like really clicks, and for others, it's not the best combo, and that's just sort of the nature of pairings. Like I said, there's some good energy that I enjoyed sometimes in the upper mids, and then sometimes it got like a little bit too energetic for me depending on the headphones I had plugged in. But it's nice and full bodied. It's got some weight to all the notes, and that for me is really important in the world of tubes. The lower mids, like, they're fuller. They can almost get a little crowded, I think. But that can sort of be addressed with your tube selection. The bass is just kind of lush. It's very nice, very enjoyable. It's not like the pinnacle of sort of detail and impact, but you can sink into it, and it's really satisfying. So like compared to the Taboo, right, which is, to be fair, pretty much exactly 3x the cost, right? $2,300. So not really a fair comparison, but just an amp I've spent a ton of time with, and an amp to me that really represents a dedicated headphone tube amp, even though it also powers speakers. So I doubt you're cross-shopping these, but if you've watched my review on that, or listened to me sort of talk about that in comparison to other things, hopefully it's a good benchmark. So that amp definitely has a little more sort of energy and sparkle in the upper high range. It definitely feels a bit sort of faster on its feet, a bit more sort of dynamic somehow. It's got a little extra space around each element, like there's a little more room and definition around each thing. And then, the sort of lower, like mid to lower treble region, like those notes feel like they have a little more backbone, a little more sort of weight to them on the Taboo. But this is not night and day stuff. This is subtle stuff. I think this amp is really very good for its price point, and especially if you sort of are a bit of a stickler for a nice clean black background, or you want to use like ultra sensitive headphones that you'd just be driven crazy on noisier tube amps. I think there's a lot here to love for sure. And it's nice and compact. It fits on your desk easily. So it's a cool amp. Let's talk a little bit about tubes and tube rolling, right? So these guys, this is what I believe Hagerman includes standard. This is the reproduction Mullard EL84s. These are nice. These are like my baseline. So this is like, okay, this is kind of what the manufacturer thinks is a good pairing for the price. These are about $45 a pair. And overall, everything I sort of described about the sound characteristics are very much true listening to this pairing. The next thing I tried was the Golden Lions here, the Genelecs. These are nice. These are a nice little step up for me. These are probably like $60 a pair. They're a bit drier, a bit more space, and a bit more sparkle, which I really enjoyed. I thought, like I said, there's a bit of sort of thickness and congestion sometimes with the stock tubes, and I think these are sort of a nice compromise there and step up. The other thing I tried is these TAD. These are also EL84s. These I don't know where they're actually manufactured, but they're labeled and packaged in Britain. These are really nice. So they can get a little boomy in the mids and the upper mids. The lower mids and the bass get a little bit wider and less congested. So they also kind of address that may be my main pain point there. Those are about $50 a pair, I think. I don't know how annoying they are to get sourced into the States. What else did we try here? I think that takes us to these guys. Focus. These are from the famous Reflector factory in former USSR. These are what I run in the Taboo. These are actually an EL83 or SV83. these are my favorite. They are the most energetic and engaging. There's excellent control over the detail and the lower mids and bass. It's just like, oh, so satisfying. And the staging's just honestly a bit better. I don't have the price off the top of my head. They're not expensive. They're just annoying to get. And right now, at the state of the very sad state of the world, probably even tougher to get. But there are, I think I was sourcing mine from a dealer in the Ukraine. So, anyway, not to bring us down here at the end of the video, but yeah, the amp does respond well to tube rolling. Like it's not tube rectified, and you don't have an input tube, so you only have so many moves, which is your power tube. But there are a lot of great EL84 sort of vintage stuff that you can go track down, and new production, reproduction stuff. So, and they're pretty affordable. So it's a kind of fun one to roll on as well, because you're not going to break the bank experimenting and getting different sound signatures out of it. So yeah, there you go. Is it going to drive the most demanding headphones? No. Does it drive most headphones? Yeah. Will it drive very sensitive headphones? Yeah. Is it small? Yep. Is it reasonably priced? Yep. Is it well made? Uh-huh. So there you go. Yeah, check it out. Hagerman Audio Labs Tuba. All right. Until next time, guys, this is Signcraft signing out.